Hey, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome today to a new episode of The Road to Glory. So, this is going to be episode number 70. Yeah, that's right, 70. Not too bad at all. And we're going to actually start kind of right at the end of like the Luna promo. Like I said to you in the end of the last episode, probably going to leave it so that a couple of the final SBCs could go into the start of this video. Then we'll do like a little portion of marquee matchups. We'll also do my weekend league rewards, which will just be like Silver 2. And then we'll get into some of this weekend's weekend league. So we start off with a... I mean, it's top rack. It's a board pool. It's top rack. It's not as good as what the next pack is going to be, that's for sure. But it probably made that whole SBC that we just did worthwhile. And then Year of the Dog was a good one to finish up with for Lunar New Year for me. It gave us a rare mega pack, which is actually a 55,000 coin pack, I'm pretty sure. And from that pack, I mean, we just submitted, I had some untradeable Argentines, and I bought a few players as well. And from that, we were able to get boards, of course. Great. It's a 55k pack. I'm pretty much hoping so. German centre mid from Real Madrid. That is, of course, going to be 90 rated Toni Kroos right there. I will take that all day long. Because, like, on previous FIFAs, he would probably be about 20k. Just because... he doesn't really hold much of a value. He's not much of a usable player on the game. But because of SBCs and icon SBCs and stuff this year, a 90 rated player is always above like 50,000 coins. So that's brilliant. And that means like super profit for us right there. So Lunar New Year was a success for me. And then this week on marquee matchups, there was one of the challenges which was super cheap and a good way to get yourself a 25k pack. Now I'm not going to do the rest of the marquee matchups. Don't think it's really worth it this week. But for me to put some untradeable and tradable like bronzes that I already had in the club into the one challenge there to get myself a rare gold pack is alright. You know, yeah, we don't profit too much because we only get Chris Smalling. It's not the greatest pull in the world. But there's 3 rare gold players there. There's contracts, there's fitness, there's all of that sort of stuff. So it definitely was profit in total. I then decided that I kind of wanted to buy a Kyle Walker. Now, this was before ratings refresh. I went and bought an 83 rated Walker under 10k. Didn't think he was actually going to be that cheap. And he'll come into play, as you'll see a little bit later on in this episode. So, as you know, last weekend, I played a little bit of the weekend league and got myself up to 11 wins for auto qualification to the next weekend. This weekend, and we get ourselves 15k, a 25k pack, and a 35k pack, which is alright. I'm relatively happy with that. Feel like squad battles rewards are better for the games that you actually have to play. Like I could spread it out across the whole week, but I am definitely bored of squad battles now. I think I haven't really played it for a little while now. I know I said in the previous episode that maybe I'll try and grind it again, but I don't know, it just hasn't been happening. I haven't been really buzzing to play against single player, so I'm not sure what's going on there at the moment. And as we seem to be doing a little bit more of the weekend league now, maybe we'll just stop with squad battles for a while and actually go for the similar types of rewards, but in, you know, an online setting where we can test out our Team of the Year Kane a little bit more. And it, of course, brings content to you. I don't really film the squad battle stuff because nobody wants to watch gameplay against single player, right? So we didn't really get much from our weekend league rewards, but it all adds up, so it's absolutely fine. I've already got my team, so I'm set there. And we start the weekend league, and I go in with my normal squad here. I do put Kyle Walker on the bench, but as we go into game, I completely forgot to... the idea was that I wouldn't play that Scream Bender. I would actually play Goretzka and Munier in midfield, bring Bender off, and then have a right-back Walker go in. But I completely forgot to do that because I'd actually bought that Walker a couple of days beforehand. So this is my first game, and I played it on the Friday, so the first day of the weekend league, and I go 1-0 down after 8 minutes, and I'm a little bit sort of wondering why the goalkeeper doesn't really get to it, and again I'm wondering why don't really save that one. But then again, good shot from Patrick Kluivert, and he goes 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes against me. I then score a goal, like, after 13 minutes, so there's been 3 goals in 13 minutes right now. I can already tell this is going to be one of them games. This is the first one in the weekend league as well, and it's just going to be full of goals, full of craziness, and full of stress. And I get gifted a goal there. Munier's in the right place to take the ball off the defender as he stupidly passes it straight to me, basically, and I get back into the game. And then once again, I'm wondering why my goalie's not saving that. Like, it's a weak finesse shot from outside the box. I feel like he should probably get to that one. And then I get gifted another goal with Munier. This guy just literally isn't clearing the ball properly. And after like 20-odd, 30-odd minutes, there was 6 goals in the game, which is just crazy. He then scores that audacious effort with Jordi Alba, I think it was. So I was getting done in this game. Like, this guy was better than me, holding possession way better than me, so frustrating me in my first weekend league game. He then hits that shot with Mahrez. Like, it's an alright shot. They're the sort of goals which go in for me quite often, but again, I'm expecting the goalie to save it. I score an identical one down the other end, and you can just see, right, none of the keepers are saving anything. It's just get to the edge of the box, hit a finesse shot, and you're pretty much guaranteed a goal. It was a bit crazy. And then Kluivert scores that absolute filthy banger. That one ain't getting saved. It might have been deflected, but it was definitely a nice goal. And then I guess he accidentally presses his Xbox button. So all of that stress, all of that like tension in the first game, all of them goals, are for nothing. I get back to the menu, I got 40 matches remaining. So we basically have to start the weekend league again. I wanted to include that because it's such a classic way to start the weekend league, really, isn't it? So this is now my first proper game in the weekend league, which is hopefully going to actually count towards the record. And it's up against that's not a weekend league ready team, really, when you look at it. That Prem team, 4-4-2, all goal players, nothing special in there. Like, you can get away with using some of those players, but it's definitely not the standard that I would imagine that many people have their squads in the weekend league to date. Like, I could almost imagine this guy is on a play to win rather than pay to win, and started at Christmas time, I would say, like the amount of coins that he's actually got. But I go 1-0 up with that superb back post header from Harry Kane, but then it's another header which actually levels the game. Virgil van Dijk. And what I found funny is that from corners from my end, Virgil van Dijk would mark Harry Kane, so like big man on big man. And for me, I think it was either Bender or Thiago Silva on Virgil van Dijk there for his corner. So that kind of sucked because I know he had the aerial advantage. But I get another goal, and I do go 2-1 up. A lovely smasher of a volley from Mbappe at the back stick. And that's a tidy little goal. Like, I genuinely thought he was going to go for the header, but then all the defenders sort of like pulled back, and it opened up for Mbappe, and yeah, of course he's going to volley that one into the back of the net. And then I get an opportunity with Kane, and I don't really miss them opportunities because Kane is super clinical. He's ridiculous in front of goal like that. Anywhere edge of the box, either foot, as long as he's got that tiny bit of space, you can pretty much guarantee yourself a little goal. And that's a tidy finish, it really is, from Harry. Like, nice goal. And we're 3-1 up at half time. So I'm feeling like, I mean, the game's been relatively even, but the better chances have come to me, that is for sure. And then, I mean, that's one of the dodgier goals you'll see. I'm just trying to hit pot shots through defenders, which I know is not a good idea because they're always going to get blocked. But it fell to Mbappe. He nods it home, like loops it over the goalie, and he somehow doesn't manage to tip that one over for a corner. I think it's because he took that final step there and then was just too far away from the ball in order to claw that one away. So we're 4-1 up and pretty comfortable, and then Munier gives a penalty away. Okay, they happen from time to time as well. But I saved the penalty. I sort of read where he was going, and then I think I got kind of lucky because I think I dived downwards when actually the ball didn't really move that far off centre. But he does get his next consolation goal a little bit later on in the match. 4-2. Rashford is going to score this time. Like, I genuinely don't expect to see Rashford at this point in the weekend league. It's a bit weird. And then Kane fires home a banger because, like, I'm already so far ahead that I'm going to hit the audacious and see if that will go in. And of course, with 99 shooting, I can score some of them from time to time. So I roulette, and then I get very lucky. The heel click just basically comes back to me. But hitting across the goalkeeper with so much power, I actually feel quite confident with our big 96 rated striker. And then that from Mbappe was cheeky, and eventually we get the goal from it. Like, it gets blocked again because there were so many defenders around after I did that turn. It just seemed to slow down for me. But it bobbled right up for the little volley, and we get a 6-2. So another 8 goals in this game so far. And then Danny Rose whips it in. A solid header from Lukaku. It's always going to beat that defender there because Lukaku is a bit of a beast. So 9 goals in this game, but it's going to count, and we are going to win 6-3. So 19 goals in the first game and a half of FUT Champs, and one win to show for it. 19 goals from me and my opponents. It's so difficult to keep emotion out of it and to try and just play the games and not care about, you know, whether you win or lose, like, because there's so many games to go. It's so difficult to keep emotion out of it when there's so many goals going in, because I get pissed whenever I concede a goal, and when that happens so often, it's difficult to not just lose it up here, and I'm sure you guys are the same, right? So in an effort to try and use up some of these loans that I've got, you know, I've bought them across the year, so I might as well use them. It's put another little fun team together, start with the 4-5-1, and of course you would have seen it goes to the 4-1-2-1-2, enabling us to actually use Bergkamp, Mateus and Ferdinand. Those are the three icons coming into the squad today, and this was played Saturday, so today earlier afternoon, and the guy had a couple of red cards, couple of SBC cards, but the squad looked a little bit sort of mismatched, I'm not gonna lie, and it takes us 15 minutes to go 1-0 up in this one. It was a pretty close 15 minutes, so I'm not gonna say like we super deserved it, but I guess the chance was going to eventually open up to one of us, and it just looked like it happened to me. And then pretty much straight away he goes down the other end and gets that really nice goal with Quincy Promes. Like I didn't know what sort of weak foot he's got. I can't remember if it's a 3-star or a 4-star. So I was trying to keep him on the right, and I was relatively comfortable once he dragged back to go on the left there, but fine, a lovely goal, somehow goes through all of my players and he ends up scoring it. But you can see the little fast forward, I mean, we scored our first goal in the 15th minute and it's just struck the 21st, and there's been like 3 goals in that 6 FIFA minutes. Yeah, kickoff goals are gone. No, they still seem to exist, but I think the defences are a lot tighter. If you actually score those goals, a lot of the time it is because the defenders are being pulled out. You know, you're pulling them out wrongly, and therefore opening a gap up for your opponent. You know, that just does happen. So we end up going 3-1 up, so a nice 2-goal cushion here. I get a free kick on the edge of the box, lay it short to Leon Bailey, who is able to score for me and put me 3-1 up here. And then Bailey sees an open Harry Kane, and that's a perfect first touch right there. That is what I need from someone who's not necessarily the quickest in game, is that brilliant first touch to get it out his feet, keep it in the stride, and then I can bang it with the weak foot and force a straight up rage quit from that opponent there. So we're now 2-0. It should really be 2-1, but we're 2-0. And we go on into our next game, which is going to be the final game for this episode. And we come up against a nice team. Actually a cool hybrid. Someone's really thought about that squad, and it features quite a few gem players. So I was worried going into this one because he's like built a cool team, and it's not just super fit in the meta, you know. It's something which is actually quite interesting, but I go very luckily 1-0 up here, because that ball there was supposed to be a short to David Alaba, and it ended up going straight to Bailey, who was through on goal. Yeah, I didn't mean the pass in the slightest, but then I got my passing accuracy up a little bit, and you can see some really nice one-touch football there. Ends up giving it straight to Kane in front of goal, penalty spot area. I don't care where the keeper's diving, I'm getting that in the back of the net most, like 99% of the time. And he does have 99 shooting, so yeah, you would expect every 1 out of 100 of them to maybe get missed. So we're 2-0 up at half-time. Seems like we're flying, right? And in the 67th minute, he became a different player. Couldn't get near him. Just like his passing became one touch, became really nice. He scores the goal with Aubameyang. And I'm like, okay, we've got just over 20 minutes. I've got to hold out here. And he picks the ball up. Like, I give the ball away straight away. And look at the passing. It's really nice. I can't get near it. And then Batshuayi hits that banger of a shot into the back of the net. Maybe the keeper should have got a hand to it, but you know, it would have gone in down the other end for me as well. So what can you do, right? And yeah, within like a few minutes, he'd got back into the game. 2-2. Out of nowhere. I felt like I had this game, like, pure and simple. I thought it was mine. But eventually we managed to get up down the other end and hit that heel click with Kane, gets him up to full speed, manages to burst past the defender, and then another weak foot shot from him. Doing the business. Like, I don't care which foot I'm getting it on with him there. Like, it's going in the back of the net. And then I basically see out the game. Try and do it in the last third of your opponent's field, like near the edge of their box, because if they do then really aggressively go out to tackle you, maybe you get that chance to thread that needle, play that ball through, and actually score another goal when really all you're trying to do is hold possession. So, pretty like, decent start. You know, we're 3-0. Realistically should have been 3-1. But Kane obviously bagging loads of goals, getting assists, and I'm loving this squad. We've only got 9 games left with it exactly how it is, because Mateus will run out of contract. But you can see bottom right corner, you probably can't because I'm sat here, but basically below me is 2 games left on Vieira, 4 games left on Petit. So I can switch him out for those, switch those 2 players out for Mateus, and we should have at least 14 games left with this. But I'm aiming to try and get to 11 wins. If it's super stressful and I can only get up to 5 wins, then you'll see tomorrow, and we won't have auto qualification for the next weekend league. If it all goes to plan, I can get up to that 11 for the auto qualification. I'm going to play it by ear. I'm not going to absolutely gun it and stress myself out to try and get that, because, you know, there's always the daily knockout tournament next week. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, guys, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to sub to the channel if you're new. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.